So let's all go to the revolution, but who knows the way? R&D. Plant also lives on a farm like Bonham between Worcestershire and Shropshire, a working mountain sheep farm which he maintains with finesse. Right, so all of that travelling around the world in excess, a lot of farming going on as well. After 6 years at King Edward the 6th Grammar School in Stourbridge, he got £2 a week making tea for a seedy old man who was supposed to be teaching me chartered accountancy. It was a far cry from Leonardo da Vinci, he recalls. He hated it and left. He had already played in the backs of, Stourbridge pubs while studying for his GCE O-levels. He got 6 passes, and as a result, found little difficulty in forming various small bands, such as the Crawling King Snakes, the Black Snake Moan, and later the Band of Joy. Yeah, and that's where he met, Bonzo. All those bands are named after old blues tunes. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's interesting stuff for sure. I find this fascinating, and he talks about his love of Joni Mitchell and bits and pieces. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. So that's a bit of Planty. Pagey, always a fascinating interview. They didn't do a lot of them back then, but here's the piece here. I'll pick some of the parts out of it. His technique may lack the effortless charm of Clapton, may lack the brutal wizardry of one of his heroes, the late Jimi Hendrix. His songs may not equal the agonized self-pity of Dylan. His compositions, the formal brilliance of Benjamin Britten, but his grasp both of the limitations and possibility of his music is formidable. When he was first voted #1 guitarist by various rock magazines, he was genuinely surprised. I am not much of a guitarist, am I? Come on. Jimmy, you know that you're amazing, especially at that period. Wow. He asked me once, more to my surprise than his. Recently he wandered around India listening to every street sitarist he could unearth, just men in the street playing their instruments. I felt very humbled by the quality of their musicianship, he told me. In fact, I felt embarrassed to be playing at all. Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, he did appreciate that Eastern sound and the ability of those musicians in India and Morocco where they travelled and things. Gone was the flashy majesty of his appearance on stage, fast as a cat. Instead, a thin, almost inaudible ghost of a man like a choir boy, dog-tired but smiling. He has been awake non-stop since the last concert, 48 hours. I thought something was coming through, he said, waving his hands towards his guitar sunk into a chair. But, well, I suppose there have been too many interruptions. He wanders around his darkened room, disconsolate, exhausted, alone. Man, this is so dramatic. Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting time, the way things were expressed and the way of being. It was a different world, but it's interesting stuff. You dig right through this, but I'll skip this part here. Is quite cool. He would like to fill his houses with pre-Raphaelite paintings, but says he can't afford them. He owns Alistair Crowley's old house on Loch Ness. It's well documented. Bit of a creepy place, that. And an old moated mansion near Lewes in Sussex. He pays 98% tax on his songwriting royalties, and although he keeps meeting people in the States which can't afford to come back to England, hopes to stick it out until hopefully a compromise comes along, he laughs. A lot of the bands back then, they had to relocate, it was pretty common. Spend a certain amount of time outside of England to avoid those horrendous tax rates, So, yeah, here we go. This is quite interesting. I think I must be a Machuas He says, he's the only Led Zeppelin not married. I once told a friend, I am just looking for an angel with a broken wing, one who couldn't fly away. Wow. Deep. Can't fly away. Well, obscene letters sent to him by fans and others distress him inordinately. Death threats are frequent. He worries about the whole pace of being on the road, of constantly having to live up to his image. However that is, or whatever that is, whenever he returns home, he can't eat or sleep or in any way relax for days, often weeks. He longs to tour in an open wagon, stopping when and where the mood takes him. He lives only for his music. The rest is meaningless. There you go. Well, if you can't relax, eat, sleep, it isn't really very good. Maybe that's Planty was saying about if my day is functioning, I live it to the fullest, if it's functioning. But hey, that was interesting. And then you got concert photo there. It's interesting stuff. And there's some interviews with John Paul Jones, doesn't say a lot, and Bonham. Just talks about his background, playing with his parents on the road as part of a music comedy trio, with his dad on piano and himself on bass. Jones toured the Hunt, Balls, Barma Tazars, belly dance parlours, US bases, and a residency at the Isle of Wight Yacht Club. Wow, that's pretty diverse. Eventually he graduated into the London session circuit primarily as an arranger. His most notable work perhaps was for the Rolling Stones album Their Satanic Majesty's Request, although he arranged also for Lulu and Hermits. He even thought of applying for the job as choir master at the Westminster Cathedral. My God, his life would have been very different. A lot less fun and a lot less successful if he'd taken that path. But there you go. And he obviously met Page while playing on Donovan's Hootie Goody Man. And the story about how his wife convinced him to call Jimmy when there was an melody maker. And the rest is history. Maybe she just wanted to get rid of him. Who knows? But and there's the little piece here of John Bonham. Not a lot, really. Again, that weird thing on the eye there, which is pretty strange. It's like a star thing they put on the eye in these pics. Again, he talks about, he once collected 21 cars in 12 months, including 4 Rolls, 3 Bentleys, a Maserati, and assorted Aston Martins. Plant had told Page about him and said he was not popular because he played too loud. Grant had to send 40 telegrams. Bonham was not on the phone before the recalcitrant drummer replied he wasn't interested. He said he was getting £40 a week steady. That's right. He didn't want to risk it. Recently he spent $25,000 buying and then transporting a red Corvette which had taken his fancy in Florida. He had the car brought over to Los Angeles on a trailer, thus causing endless dramas. No one except Bonham was allowed to drive the car, not even down to the local tax office to get it insured. As a result, it has never been insured and Bonham has never driven it. Okay, and this is classic. His school report had read, he will either be a millionaire or a dustman. My God, these schoolmasters, man, you're going to be either a millionaire or a dustman. Pretty interesting, really, isn't it, to say something like that? But hey, well, he took the right option. He definitely didn't become a dustman, but interesting. And he's also got a working farm that he actively farms. But again, these guys are on the road all the time. They toured excessively. They recorded an album a year, sort of thing, I'm sure their downtime was spent working very hard on the farm. Hey, there's a little bit there at the back there about, for a message from Peter Grant, and they talk about Danny Goldberg, and how proud they are of the Swan Song label at the time, 1975. the success of Bad Company was huge, so it got off to a great start, and obviously, you know, the signings of the Pretty Things and singer Maggie Bell, and that is highlighted here with the promotion of the Swan Song label. Pretty cool. So thanks for sharing this with me today. It's very much an interesting, travel back in time moment when you get something like this, and I really appreciate it, Jules. I'll look after it for you. You do get a sense of what it was like back then, and also just a neat piece of memorabilia to read and look through. So hey, look, thanks again for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. It only takes a few seconds. I know people always say that, and it is a bit corny, but it does help, and I do that myself. If I like something, I really enjoy the material, then I will subscribe because I want to see more of it. And we're all fans, you know. So it's great to share, and add your comments to the comment section. That would be awesome. So we'll catch you next time. Have a great week, and thanks for watching Rockstars.